Good evening, everybody. My name is Shay Ali, and I am the founder and host of Inspired Stage and the Inspired Stage online series, which I've been running throughout lockdown. I'm going to talk tonight not about Inspired Stage, but about the Beatles, believe it or not. But before I go on to do that, I would say I have been doing Inspired Online daily since lockdown, just to keep everybody entertained and inspired. So I hope that it has. It's been daily inspirational content with amazing stories from famous and non-famous people from around the world, sharing their nutshells of wisdom with you. So if you want to check that out, it's on facebook.com/inspired stage or youtube.com/inspired stage. Go wherever you like. We'll find you, you find us. So why am I talking about the Beatles? Well, I was doing Inspired Online daily, and as we're in the UK gradually easing out of lockdown but still trying to stay safe, I thought, well, you know, I'm not going to do it every day anymore, because obviously that's quite a big time commitment for me. So at the moment through June, the intention is 3 times a week on that. And I didn't have anyone booked today. So I thought, well, I've got a little bit of extra time. Let me do a video on this Beatles song challenge. So I went on Facebook yesterday morning. Someone had posted this. I love it. I don't know who is the artist. If the artist, you are out there, please identify yourself. I couldn't find who did it online or anything. And what I'd love to know, it's basically an artwork, which I'll show you in a moment, which has got lots of Beatles songs hidden within that artwork, which is incredible. I mean, there's so much detail and thought that's gone into that. I absolutely love it. And I want to know what the artist's original intention was as well. Like, what songs did you want to actually put in here? Because what I'm going to share with you is about 82 songs that are potentially in that picture. But I don't know whether they're all intended to be in there, or I'm just reading too much into it, or whatever, you know. So if you're out there or you know who created it, please let me know who that is. I'd love to know, and thank you for doing it, and just acknowledge your talent. Really, it's incredible. I love it. And I love the Beatles. I mean, for those of you that know me, you might know that. For those of you that don't know me, I'm not old enough to have been born in the 60s and been going to all the Beatles concerts, but I mean, our parents were. So me and my cousins, we were raised together. And when we were growing up, we loved all the albums. We loved all the films. I still probably know every single lyric from Please Please Me to Rubber Soul. And then after that, I know some, but not all. So yeah, I do really dig the Beatles. So yeah, I unfortunately, rather than starting work yesterday as I was supposed to have done, I distracted myself on Facebook looking at this particular graphic. The graphic was posted with the caption, there are 39 songs hidden in there, please only guess one, so you give everyone a chance to play the game. So if you'd like to play the game, please do. And I'm going to show you that graphic right now. Let's try and do a bit of a screen share on that one. And if you want to go away and solve this yourself, a tip that I'll give you before I go and give you the answers is each one of these little pictures, not all of them, but a lot of them have more than one song lyric hidden within the picture. So, you know, that's how you get loads. But as I say, the amount of thought that's gone into this is just incredible. So things that are not song lyrics but still super relevant. For example, here you've got some apples, and of course their record label was Apple. And then up here, the car, I'm 99% sure that's a Volkswagen Beetle. And of course we are talking about the Beatles. So I just love it. I think it's so great. Anyway, if you want to go and give this puzzle a go, as I said, I've got about 82 suggestions for you on what's hidden in there. If you have found something that I don't mention, please comment in this video and let me know what that suggestion is. Because I'd love to know, actually. you know, if you want to, some of these 82 are a bit tenuous, so you know, I'm not saying that they are all correct, but I actually made this video because I couldn't find anywhere online, although you know, I was asked by someone earlier today whether I could explain where everything was in the picture, and initially I thought, well, that's going to take a lot of time, let me find someone that's already done that. And although there's been some lists of answers, none of them really seem to be completely complete, and nor is there a video available showing you where all these things are. So I thought, well, let's just do one myself then. So here goes. Up at the top here, we've got the sun, and there are a few Beatles songs suggesting the sun. So the ones that I think are most relevant for that one are Good Day Sunshine, Here Comes the Sun, and finally Good Morning. So any of those could be potential for that one. So coming up next then, where shall we go next? We'll stick up here actually. Here we've got a lovely wood, as you can see, and that is the flag of Norway. So once you know that, of course, that becomes really easy, and that is Norwegian wood. Let's come down the road. Of course, this road is long and it's winding, so that is the long and winding road. And then while I say that, just that this picture as a whole, this isn't part of the 82, by the way, but could it be that this picture is across the universe, or could it be that this picture is the world? I don't know. Maybe that was the intention, maybe not. So up here then, we've got this lorry. If you look very closely at the lorry has piggies on it, and there is a Beatles song called Piggies. So that's that one. And then we've already drawn attention to this beautiful little Volkswagen Beetle there. That one has got to be Drive My Car. And then here's a more random one. But if you look at the lorry and the car together, what that could be is there was a song called All Things Must Pass. And if you look at the lorry there, you can see the lorry is getting out of the way of the car, and so the car must have passed the lorry. All right. Now, one thing I love about Lennon McCartney, and perhaps why this picture lends itself to more than one song per title, is even though they very much like, you know, some songs were written by John Lennon and some songs were written by Paul McCartney, but they put both their names on all the songs that they wrote throughout the Beatles discography, if I call it that. So one example of such pairing is Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields. I mean, they're both like a similar theme, but I think Penny Lane was written mainly by Paul and Strawberry Fields written mainly by John. And as it happens, both of those appear here. So if you look at the name of this road, it's actually called Penny Lane. And if you look in the background, let's see if I can erase that. We've got our Strawberry Fields sitting right up there, because you can't forget either of those two amazing songs. Okay, so where shall we go next then? Let's look at this. Let's just come down the picture actually. The next thing in the picture here is a fairground scene. There's a Beatles song called Helter Skelter. So that is that one. And then sitting on the Helter Skelter is Her Majesty. So Her Majesty is another title of a Beatles tune. Also in the funfair, we've got this merry-go-round. The merry-go-round, I think, is Revolution, and the guy sitting in the merry-go-round could even be Russian Revolution, actually. But there are 3 Beatles songs called Revolution. There's Revolution 1, Revolution 9, and Revolution. So it could be any of those. Then we think, okay, well, there was actually a song about the USSR as well. And if you look at what the guys are wearing, they're kind of more old school USSR rather than Soviet Union. So they have to be back in the USSR. I think the fairground as a whole could be a nod to Mr. Kite. My guess is that is Mr. Kite. Um, So for those of you that don't know the song, For the Benefit of Mr. Kite was actually inspired by John Lennon finding a fairground advertisement. And most of the lyrics in that particular song just come directly out of that poster for the fairground. And I think given that this guy in the picture is the entrance to the fairground, I think he's Mr. Kite. But the more obvious interpretation of that picture is Ticket to Ride, of course. And then I was thinking about the song You Never Give Me Your Money. So that could be him, because he doesn't look particularly busy. That song could also be this little baby boy who's got money. Actually, it could be this mum, because she doesn't look too happy with that baby boy. You never give me your money. Or You Never Give Me Your Money could also be represented in this guitar, but that's got money in there, so I'm not too sure about that one. But we'll come back to those. Characters wise, let's go back to the top of the picture now. I don't think I've done this one yet. You can see the Fool on the Hill up there, and we have here Taxman, guy with the briefcase, and written around him is the words VAT, so he's definitely the Taxman. Another Beatles character here, Lovely Rita. Now, for those of you that don't know the lyrics to that, she's Lovely Rita, meter maid. And then yet another Beatles character here. We've got Dr. Robert, and if you look very close at this gentleman, he has got a name badge, Rob, and he's clearly in some kind of medical establishment there. Let's stay with this building. First, we've got the woman. She came in through the bathroom window with quite some effort there. And then what's the name of the shop? Well, if we look closely there, that particular shop is open 24/8. So of course that is 8 days a week. Coming to the top, we've got two little blackbirds there. Beautiful Beatles song there called Blackbird, but also there was another Beatles song called And Your Bird Can Sing. So they represent both of those. Coming up next, let's come back to these ladies. We've talked about them a little bit already. There's quite a lot of song titles hidden within the ladies. So what have we got here? First of all, we've got the little baby on the left-hand side, as you look at the screen, is Baby You're a Rich Man, because he's got a little money bag with him. And also the money bag itself could just be the song Money. There's children, so the song could be Little Child. That could apply to either of the boys. As I've said, it could also be You Never Give Me Your Money. They're both boys, I reckon. So there's a song also called Boys, sung by Ringo. I think that's on Please Please Me. The lady on the right, she looks very not happy. I think that could also signify the song Keep Your Hands Off My Baby. The Beatles, I don't think, wrote that song, but they did certainly perform it. And the baby that the one on the right is holding seems to be crying. So Cry Baby Cry. And then lastly, the one on the left-hand side looks like a bit of a bad boy. So I'm going to suggest that that bad boy song also fits that bit of the picture. Coming above the ladies next, here we've got, I don't know where they got the inspiration for this song, but Glass Onion. That's definitely an onion. I'm going to assume that is made of glass for the purposes of this. Coming down here to the gentleman, to me, that was While My Guitar Gently Weeps. And actually going back, we've got an alternative interpretation for Dr. Robert and Rita the meter maid there, and one of the very early Beatles songs, because Dr. Robert is looking directly at her and she is standing still. So I thought that could be I saw her standing there. So there we are on that one. So let's come next to the workmen. Here we've got men very busy at work. There's a few Beatles songs that could apply to that. The one that I first thought of was Fixing a Hole. And then there's another song also called Dig It, that could be. Yeah. And then, oh, I think I forgot to mention this one, but this little baby, just going back to that for a minute, is Babies in Black. So there's that one as well. Now, another Beatles character coming down here for a moment. I think that's Mean Mr. Mustard. Mean Mr. Mustard, I don't know the lyrics for very well, but I think it was something to do with shaving in the dark, and he lived in a hole, and he's got this very miserable sign on him going "not dead." So we'll come back to that in a moment, but I think he could be that. There's also a Beatles song called Misery and another one called I'm Down. So I think he fits all of those really. And then, you know, here's another Lennon and McCartney pairing while they were inspired by the same themes. The man on the left hand side there is I'm So Tired, because obviously he's yawning. The man who I thought was Mean Mr. Mustard is I'm Only Sleeping, hence why he's got the sign Not Dead. And both together, especially the one who is sleeping, could be Golden Slumbers. So they're enjoying a nice little sleep there. Now that sign's been cut off the page, but I believe that's supposed to say open at night. So they're all going through a hard day's night there. And the guy carrying lots of stuff, let's find my pen again, over here, that one is Carry That Weight. Okay, gosh, quite a lot. Are you still with me? I know this is probably not the most interesting video, but if you were desperately wanting to know the answers, this is going to be fascinating to you. And I love it. I think, you know, there's lots of potential within this artwork, isn't there? It's just wonderful. So let's come back now, or let's go to this person. Now, this person, I thought it was a man when I first saw it, and so you know, I think this song might be Nowhere Man, and I think that's the most likely interpretation for that particular person. But if it were a lady, and it is a bit ambiguous on this one, it could also be She's Leaving Home, perhaps. Let's come back to our gentlemen that are sleeping in the street. There is another detail in them that is relevant here, and it's their shoes. So there's a Beatles song called Old Brown Shoe. So we've got plenty of those to be looking at there. I think I've done Fool on the Hill already. I can't remember, but there he is. So short and sweet on that one. Let's come then to the, where are we? The fairground bit, or just leading up to the fairground. This one's a fairly easy one. I Am the Walrus. He looks very friendly there, saying hello to the gentleman. Love that. And then we come to this little celebration here. Of course, my first instinct was that has got to be Birthday. But then I thought, there's another song called I Don't Want to Spoil the Party. So it could also be that. I would love to know if there's significance behind the picnic. Obviously there's a birthday cake, so I think that one's taken. My guess, could that be honey pie? I don't know, but potentially that's an interpretation for that. I don't think there's a song about turkeys, but you know, let me know. I don't know, maybe there is, maybe I'm wrong. But I think there might be something that I'm missing there. Let's come to these guys next. So I think there's a few things that could be. That one is, I thought first it was Hold Me Tight, which is a really early Beatles song. It could also be You Really Got a Hold on Me, which they did not write. In fact, that was written by Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, I believe, but they did, the Beatles did a wonderful version of that with the Beatles, I think. And it could also be, and I think this is probably the best answer to this, is Come Together. So it could be any of the three of those. We've got these guys here as well. Again, there's a couple of things that could be. If you look at the gentleman's legs there, they are twisted and he's shouting. So of course that's got to be Twist and Shout. But there is also a song called Shout. Now, I don't think, again, the Beatles wrote that particular one, but they certainly sang it at some point. So it could be either of those. I think I forgot to highlight this bit. This bit, if you read the sign very closely, that sign says here, there, and everywhere. And of course, that's a really beautiful song as well. So let's erase that so you can have a proper look. Coming up next, let's go to these guys. One interpretation I thought for them, and that's obviously Hello Goodbye. Nice and easy there. Let's come next to these guys. I think we've got Dad and Son there, and I think Dad is telling Son to get back because you see the arrow pointing in the opposite direction to where the sun is going. Also there you've got a little dog, and I think he's Hey Bulldog. So that's the interpretation for that one. So let's let you have a proper look at those. The one next to them, this fairly easy. That one is Octopus's Garden. And then we have this very random, very clever. There's a little bee and it says For Rent. So that one is Let It Be. Tenuous one, this one. Could it also be A Taste of Honey? I don't know. But it's probably more likely that it was just Let It Be. We've dealt with the guy that I thought was Mr. Kite. We're getting there, guys. Again, this is a bit longer than it's taken a bit longer than I thought to do all this. All right, let's come inside the fun fair again. I think we've done the Russians, haven't we? Back in the USSR, Revolution 1, Revolution 9, and Revolution. Should do this in order, really, shouldn't I? And then did we also do Helter Skelter and Her Majesty up there? Now let's go to these cross little children here. I think that they say quite a lot, those two. No Reply was my first instinct. Could also be Ask Me Why, although Ask Me Why is such a beautiful love song. I don't think it is quite that, but you never know. I Want to Tell You could be another one. Don't Bother Me, I think, is another obvious one that could be. Tell Me Why. The lyrics to Tell Me Why are tell me why you cried and why you lied to me. So that's certainly the right sentiment for what's going on there. And then the boy is, or the girl is stepping on a balloon that the boy was holding. It's deflated if you look really closely. So that could be I'm Down or Don't Let Me Down. And the girl is looking at the boy and he's not looking back. So do you remember the song I'm Looking Through You? Where did you go? I thought I knew you. What did I know? So I think that also fits the sentiment of what is going on between them there. Now, let's come to the little pond. That is obviously Yellow Submarine we've got there. We have this guy. He's obviously asking for help. So that is help. And then we've got this little duck here with the bag over its head. And I think that one is You Won't See Me, because he's hiding himself or herself. But what I was very curious about as well, like the picnic, I don't know what the ducks are, because they might just be nothing. They might be just contributing to the You Won't See Me. But yeah, I don't know. So if you've got any ideas on what they are, please let me know. And then we have obviously Yellow Submarine, which I think I've done. I'm starting to forget what I've done and not done, but there's the Yellow Submarine. And then lastly, let's come to the people back here. Bizarre Beatles song, this, Maxwell's Silver Hammer. Although perhaps not as bizarre as Revolution 9, in my humble opinion. And I say this as someone who truly does love the Beatles. And then we have him. Now, he could just be Maxwell, but I was curious as to whether he is also leading the Magical Mystery Tour. Potentially, you never know. And then finally, we've been left with this lady here, who's looking very thoughtful. So I think this could either be Think for Yourself, or another very early Beatles song was called There's a Place. And the place that was referred to in that song is the mind. So the lyrics where there's a place where I can go when I feel alone, when I feel blue, and it's my mind. And she looks like she's very much there. So that is what I found in the picture. Again, did I say this? Did I not? But could the whole picture be across the universe or the world? Or these guys, this is all coming to me now. Could that be the end? Which is another Beatles song as well. There's lots of potential in there. Anyway, I think I've given you about 80 suggestions already as to what could be hidden in the picture. When I was looking around for something with the answers to that people came up with that baffled me a little bit was why don't we do it in the road, was a potential answer to this. I think that could have been referring to these guys, but that particular song definitely didn't have anything to do with roadworks, that's for sure. And there was another suggestion made that Sexy Sadie could be in this picture. Sexy Sadie was, I think, written as a protest song because Mia Farrow got hit on by, I think, this yogi that the Beatles went to. Obviously, I'm not conveying that story very well, but given the history of that particular song, is Sexy Sadie really on here? If she is, my guess would be that she's either the thoughtful woman there, but that doesn't really fit, or could she be angry woman? But that's a little girl, so I don't know. So if you know where Sexy Sadie is, let me know. And obviously, if you've got any other suggestions, let me know as well. Anyway, that was way longer than I expected it to be. I'm so sorry, but I hope that you enjoyed that. Let's quote the Beatles again. Remember, all you need is love. I hope that you are staying safe and well wherever you are. We will get through this. And thank you for watching. And once again, if you do want to check out my non-Beatles related content, which nevertheless will entertain you during lockdown or when you're on video anyway with some inspirational stories, do check out youtube.com/inspiredstage or facebook.com/inspiredstage, or come say hi to me. I'm Shay Ali, and I've been delighted to spend this time with you. Good night.